very good morning to you all. Thank you for joining us to yet another episode of Family Affairs Monday. My name is Justice Marwisa, and today we are going to look at Before They Self-Destruct Part 2. We are the College of Marriage, Parenting and Family Affairs, and we desire to equip people with knowledge and skills so that they may be able to enjoy their family relationships. The subject that we're talking about before they self-destruct arises from the fact that we see many parents coming to us and they are really in pain as they look at where their children are. It's true that a lot of children are self-destructing at the moment. This is coming from things like drugs, prostitution or early sex, stealing, lying, and the list goes on and on. And the Bible actually says that to have a fool for the son brings grief, and there is no joy for the father of a fool. So, and that's in Proverbs 17 verse 21. So there is a lot of pain to parents whose children are not doing well. And parents are seemingly discovering and painfully so that there is no amount of success in the marketplace that will compensate for failure at home. And that's why we are talking today about before they self-destruct. Today is part 2. Part 1, we looked at the fact that children are self-destructing from a number of things like alcohol abuse, sexual conduct, teen pregnancies, and the like. And we mentioned that prevention is better than cure. Before they self-destruct, we mentioned 2 things. That one, we should learn as parents to actually parent children in the 21st century. The methods that we learned from our parents, which our parents used to parent us, will not work in the environment that we're living in at the moment. And so we need to learn how to parent the internet generation. And the second thing that we mentioned is for us to parent successfully, one of the things that we need to do is to invest our time with our children. Because if we invest in our time with our children, we get to know them and we'll be able to impact the requisite knowledge they need that will guide them in their lives. So today we're looking at examining parental goals as part 2 of Before They Self-Destruct. And we are saying to parents today that it's important for you to examine your parental goals. Why do you parent the way you do? It's a very important question. So let's begin by imagining in your public life, you are a medical doctor, a pastor, a professor at a college, you're doing extremely well, and you are earning handsomely. You are regarded highly in society, and people envy you, and you are actually used as an example of success in many circles. People actually want to be like you, and this is actually what is happening to you in your public life. We take a look at your family life. Your children, they went to top private schools, and you send them to international schools for their college years. Now they're back at home, but they've not accomplished much. In fact, your firstborn is on drugs. Your secondborn, also back in the country, is well known for spending money at nightclubs, which he actually gets from you. Your lastborn is actually depressed and suicidal. You go back memory lane, and you begin to look at the past and say, hey, all I wanted was for my children to get the best education. You look back and say, hey, I was actually concerned about my children playing first team sport. You were concerned about your children getting the best toys and gadgets as they were growing up. You're going back memory lane, and you wanted your children to be the smartest and the most admired in the community. But with all that you did and you wanted, you realize very little input you actually made in the lives of your children regarding preparing them to these friends, unfortunately, this is the story for many parents. As they are now reflecting, they realize that their parental goals were probably not well examined. And we're saying today, friends, that before your children self-destruct, examine your parental goals. Why are you parenting your children the way you are doing? To what end? Is it really necessary for you to give your children the best toys? How will that add to the end product, as we may want to call it? Because you're looking at making them play top team at school, and if that is your goal, how is that actually preparing them to be able to live 20 years from now? Because friends, the reality is parental mistakes, they are only discovered 5 years, 10 years, 20 years later. So what we are encouraging you, friends, parents, as you listen to this video, what we're encouraging you is to rework your goals. You have an opportunity now when your children are young to actually take a look at your goals. And this is something that we must do as individuals, because life is not about proving anything to anyone who's out there. In the end, when it comes to parenting, you must, of essence, be asking yourself questions with regards to the end product which you want to have once your children leave school and they begin to live life in the community. Because the issue is this, friends, if we don't rework our goals, we may discover that the end product is not what we wanted to have. So parents, hear these, friends, must rethink their goals for their children, especially in light of the chief end of man. Parents' main objective must be to train children so that they live life to the glory of God and to be able to accomplish that which God has purposed for them. And that may involve for them to know the Lord as their Savior, to know them as their Lord. Because here, these friends, the world's goals for raising children are at best inadequate, and at worst they are actually contrary to the will of God. Every parent must work diligently to discern whether or not their goals are actually in the end promoting the end result they want in terms of the lives of their children. Because friends, let's not take parenting lightly. I want to encourage you that the whole purpose of parenting is to, at the end, build a responsible child. Every child in the end who is responsible for their life. Because reality is this, friends, we will all at some point in time die as parents. We will. And we will leave all that we have accomplished to children. Will betide us if our children are not prepared to be able to handle life. And sometimes the pain that we feel as we are seeing our children crumbling, in our very eyes as we see them, it can be painful. So my encouragement is this: rework your parental goals. One of the things that I decided to do personally a couple of years back was to look at my goals for my children. Because hear this, you don't get a good product by chance. This African proverb is telling to me. It says that if the wise elders of the village don't teach their children, the village idiots will actually do so. If the wise elders of the village don't teach the children, the village idiots will certainly do so. So you don't get a good end product when it comes to a child by chance. It requires you to actually invest in training your children the way they should go. So there are many things which parents will need to train children on. Things to do with responsibility, for example, marriage, how to work diligently, emotional intelligence, social responsibility, handling failure, ethics and morality, dangers in life, politics, value of good friends. The list goes on and on. And we need to be able to do that, or just on purpose, to look at our children and say, what do we want them to be? So rework your goals, friends. I did an exercise a couple of years ago, as I was saying earlier on, and I came up with 5 things that I wanted my children to be able to accomplish. Vision for my children, I termed it like that. Number 1 was that they may know God as their personal Savior. Number 2, that they may live lives that please God, their Maker, in terms of their character and faith. Number 3, that they may accomplish the purpose of God for their lives. Number 4, that they may have a good education. And last but not least, number 5 was that they may be self-sufficient. So these were the 5 goals which I had for my children. And every day I pray and I trust God that my children may, be able to accomplish these 5 things. And I thank God that I have been making an effort along these lines. You know what? I want to be able to do the best that I can and get to the age where all my children have grown up, and I am able to look back and say, you know what? I did the best that I could in terms of preparing my children to live. Yeah, friends, this is a huge issue. Before they self-destruct, examine your goals. May God bless you. Keep the faith. Bye-bye.